welcome to this episode of Cosmic Crow Tarot, where today we'll be doing a general reading for the fixed air sign of Aquarius. Before we get to the actual reading though, I'd like to take a few moments to talk about the astrological correspondences to the fixed air sign, which are the cards that you see right here. We'll start with this card right in the center. It says Aquarius right on the top, and has the constellation for Aquarius right here. And a single question down here in the bottom, which is what I really love about this deck. This is the Stories Oracle by the 8th house, which I'll leave a link down in the description for that, where to purchase that if you want to add it to your collection, or any of the cards that you see in this reading today, in this video. I'll leave a link down to get those as well. The question down here asks, how can you fill anyone else's cup if yours is empty? So that's what the picture is right here, is a bunch of empty cups. And that's just a question to ponder and ask yourself. You know, if you're feeling stressed out right now and just trying to be there for everybody else, if you're just stressed out and you're not really like feeling emotionally fulfilled or anything like that, it's really not going to like help in order to really be there for others. And it's no secret, Aquarius is my favorite sign of the Zodiac. I love that innovative, that originality energy of it, and I've always just been drawn to Aquariuses. Like ever since I was a child, like my best friends in life, they were Aquarius, and I always just wonder, like, I'm a Sagittarius, so what is this connection? And then I really got into astrology and learned my own birth chart and stuff, and my rising sign is actually Aquarius. So learning that little bit of astrology kind of made me realize, you know, that's why I've always just been fascinated with this sign, that innovative originality, almost weird and proud to be weird kind of personality. And I love that energy for you guys, and that's why I'm really excited to do this reading for you today. But before we get to the reading, we'll talk about the astrological correspondences, which, as I said, are right here. We have the King of Needles up first. This is from the Nightmare Before Christmas tarot. And this, I don't remember his name necessarily, but he's the one that created Sally. And you know, he's sitting there deep in thought and like really pondering what his next scientific idea is going to be, because he's like a mad scientist. And that's kind of the energy of the King of Swords, who's astrologically connected to the first two decans of Aquarius, about January 20th, 21st to about February 10th. And you can see like he's in his wheelchair and he's got his like mind up. He's like thinking, what am I going to do next? What bright idea do I have? But when you think about the Nightmare Before Christmas and this guy's actions, there wasn't any emotion involved. Like, he didn't really consider the feelings of others or who he was going to hurt and stuff like that. So this is a very logical king. It doesn't really allow emotions to play a part. I kind of always relate it to the Vulcans in the Star Trek universe, because they've just shut their emotions off completely and only focus on logic. So that's the energy of the King of Swords, you know, the masculine leader of the suit of air, and all the fixed signs of the Zodiac, they relate to the kings of the suits, whereas the cardinal signs relate to the queens and the mutable signs relate to the knights. Pages and aces both, they don't necessarily relate to a single constellation or single sign or planet or anything like that. They are more the energy of the element. So with this particular sign, with the fixed air, that would be the sword suit. So you'd have the Page of Swords and the Ace of Swords relating to that energy. The Knight of Cups, which is from the Arcanum Tarot, is the soldier that always follows his heart. This relates more to the energy of Pisces, which follows Aquarius in the Zodiac wheel, but he does represent the third decan of Aquarius as well, about February 11th to February 20th, 21st. And what I really like about these energies, you've got like two polar energies, opposites here. Like, this is the Knight, so it relates to soldiering on and really like focusing on what your heart wants you to do. And whereas we talked about with the King of Needles, or the King of Swords as he's mostly known, that's all logic. So there's a strong message here in these two cards right here, that love and logic need to be balanced and go hands in hand in order to succeed at anything. If your heart isn't in it, then you're not really going to enjoy what you're doing. So it kind of brings us back to this question, you know, as Aquarius is known as the humanitarian as the Zodiac, that energy of always wanting to be there for others. If your own cup isn't full and you're miserable, then there's a good chance that that's the energy you're going to be putting off. So really, like, make sure that your heart is in the right place, and you're like soldiering on, letting that love and empathy and kindness and compassion really lead your way forward, and still remember to stay logical as well. You know, letting your mind have a large part in what you do too. The 5, 6, and 7 down here are the minor arcana cards related to the first decan of Aquarius, the second decan of Aquarius, and the third decan of Aquarius. The 5 of Swords, as you can see in this illustration, is a card of feeling defeated. But it's also a card of feeling victorious, depending on what situation that you are in. Are you the two characters walking away here in defeat, or are you the character holding the 3 swords in the foreground? This is the 5 of the suit of the mind, so there is an energy of change and transformation there. So there's a strong message with this card, you know, if you have felt defeated in the past and been beat, how can you change that and learn from it so you can become the victor next time? I'm not saying like take advantage of someone like it's obvious this character is doing here, but definitely like learning from those negative situations or those feelings of defeat and being able to take those lessons and maybe not happening so much in the present or the future. The 6 of Swords, oh yeah, that's the first decan of Aquarius, so that's about January 20th, 21st to about January 31st, and then the 6 of Swords follows that, which starts February 1st to February 10th. And I'm sure you are well aware by now that this is from the Deviant Moon Tarot, and that is my favorite deck of all time. And as this is the suit of the mind, and that's the suit that really relates to Aquarius, this illustration that I've chosen, I chose this because it shows the ability we have to change our situations and move to happier and more peaceful times by using our own minds. That's kind of the energy of the 6 of Swords, is leaving the stress behind, you know, the stressful situation that we met with this 5 of Swords, feeling defeated or being the one that is doing the defeating, leaving that stressful situation behind and moving to times of peace and harmony. It's often our minds that are the reasons that we feel stressed out and we're like letting things get to us. So like the King of Needles up here said, you know, let logic dictate, like those situations that might have you feeling stressed out, just let them go, leave them behind. Use that mind of yours to make the best out of your life instead of letting it work against you. I see you, I don't even know how to like word this correctly, but Aquarius, like I said, is my favorite sign of the zodiac, and it's just that innovative ability to just think bigger than maybe necessarily any other sign. And a lot of times when we think that way, there's not a lot of people that agree with us. So it kind of feels draining and makes us want to give up a lot. But when we take control of our minds, then we really can achieve anything. That brings us to the 7 of Swords, which brings up the 3rd decan, or rules over the 3rd decan of Aquarius, about February 11th to February 20th. And this is known as the Thief card of the tarot, and you can likely tell that from the illustration, which is why I chose it. It's from the Dark Mansion tarot. And you can see here the character has taken off with all but 2 of the swords, which he's left in the chimney, and he sneaks away in the middle of the night. So that's interesting because we have the 2 swords over here as well. So it kind of gives us energy that not everything is being taken away from us, even though it might feel like it. And maybe the reason this question came up before of our empty cups, maybe that energy is because you've been taken advantage of so much. You've been taken advantage of. And that's what's causing you to like lose control of your own mind and feel like you can't achieve something. So the 7 of Swords, when it comes up in a reading, might be showing that you need to pay attention to your possessions. Someone might be able to be out to take advantage of you or take what you have for their own. But we mustn't forget this is the suit of the mind as well. So it might just be that our inner demons or your inner demons are making you feel like you're being stolen from or stealing your own light, and you're not able to share it as much with others because your light has been drained. It goes back to that question over here of your own cup being empty because other people have like brought you down or made you feel bad, or just life in general is draining you. That brings us to the star in the center, which is proof, Aquarius, well, at least in my opinion, that you are the star of the zodiac. And I've chosen this illustration, which is the one from the Radiant Wise Spirit Tarot, or the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, which is the I'm getting tongue-tied again. The illustration that so many of our decks are based on today. And the reason I chose this one is because of the nudity of the star character right here. As she pours water from down here and water here, It shows in order to like really embrace those hidden talents and show the world what we're capable of, you know, really being the stars of our stories, you have to be open and vulnerable. Be willing to show the world exactly what you can do. Not necessarily being naked, unless that's what you want to do. I see nothing wrong with that. Society does, so perhaps don't do that. But definitely just don't let other people keep you from shining your light. Be the original person and unique person that you were meant to be. You are the star of your story. And as long as you have control of that amazing mind of yours, Aquarius, anything is possible. So the Major Arcana card, this is the Major Arcana card connected to all 3 Deacons of Aquarius. So if there's any doubt in your mind, Aquarius, that you can't do something, you're the star. Don't ever doubt that. But that isn't the actual reading. You know, that's just the look at the astrological correspondences to Aquarius. So you can take that, you can use that for inspiration, you know, to create your life. But I'll move all these cards out of the way and we'll go ahead and get to your reading, okay, Aquarius? The deck we'll be using for your reading, Aquarius, is the Mystical Medleys Tarot. You can see it right here. And though I didn't choose it, the pendulum did. But before we get to the cards, I'd like to show you the crystals that I'm using to connect to your energy. We have a Larimer, Amethyst, Aquamarine, Angelite, Moonstone, Apatite, Amber, and Garnet. And if you've watched my videos in the past, well, recently, this is how I shuffle the deck, because this is a great way to not bend the cards, not warp them, and also because I suck at actually the actual shuffling that you see everybody do. So this is just the way I do it, and I've really found that it's a great way to connect to the cards and really ask the questions that we are wanting to ask. Although this is a general reading, so we're not asking anything specific. It's just whatever the cards want to share with you, Aquarius. That's what we like to hear. And as always, I want to thank the deck for answering our questions, and you've given us the insight, inspiration, and empowerment that we are looking for to take control of our lives. Just gotta kind of go through and keep the decks, or the little piles, in order, because when I do this, they get a little bit out of hand. So whatever you want to share, Mystical Medleys, with Aquarius, that's what we are asking now. Whatever messages of insight, empowerment, and inspiration that you have to share, that's what we ask of you now. Nothing specific, just whatever you want to share, that's what we want to hear. Now, a lot of times I tell you when I'm doing this that there's a really good reason I'm doing this. The cards are rather flimsy and I don't want to warp them, but these cards are actually one of the thicker ones that I have. I don't know if you can tell that in the video or not, but they don't really bend all that easily. It's an absolutely fantastic deck. I love the whimsical little illustrations on here, and I'm really excited to use it for you, Aquarius, to give you that information that you are seeking and maybe give you some insight into your life right now, really to help you make the best of it and really take control of that intelligent, ingenious mind of yours. So we're almost done. There we go. We already cut the deck, so now we just need to gather them all up, shuffle them on top, and pull 3 at random. Downside to them, they don't seem to like to fan out like that. But I found the 3 that called me, so you're good. I'll flip over the entire deck and see that the Ace of Swords is your bottom of the deck. We talked about that with the astrological correspondences. This Ace of Swords kind of connects to your energy, but it also connects to the cardinal air sign of Libra and the mutable air sign of Gemini. 6 of Swords, that's definitely a card that relates to you, Aquarius. The Sad Squirrel, which is an interesting card in this deck. It's not a tarot card, but I'm really excited it came up so I can share it with you. And the 9 of Wands. Now, as I said, this is just a general reading. There's no specific reading, no specific questions or anything being asked. But since, you know, we're used to reading left to right, I'll start with the 6 of Swords and work my way around. So we have the 6 of Swords. man, why do I keep doing that? Six of Swords, which is the card of leaving behind the stress and finding times of more happiness and peace. And you can see here the characters are driving themselves over to the little island over here with the trees, you know, finding that more time of peace and harmony. So this isn't necessarily like the same illustration we saw with the Deviant Moon Tarot. You can see here they're not using their minds necessarily. They're overcoming the choppy waters of their emotions. So the mind works, like, I guess on its own, but it really works better when your heart is in place as well. And a lot of times those negative emotions are what cause conflict and stuff in our own minds. So this card beginning your reading, Aquarius, kind of feels like a message of if there's something stressing you out, then you have the power to leave it behind and find happier and more peaceful times. Now there is the characters down here, which kind of feel like they've seen like negative times, like they're kind of down on their luck and stuff with the patches on their coats, or since these are ladybugs, the patches on their shells. But so does the character driving the boat, and you can see they're just every bit as willing to go to happier and more peaceful times too, because they got their little hobo bag, which kind of represents the Fool, you know, taking that opportunity to move away from those stressful situations. But the fact that there's somebody else driving this kind of gives me the idea, Aquarius, that you don't necessarily need to do all this on your own. If you're having a really stressful time and like negative feelings are coming up for you, then communicate with others. Perhaps seek help. Like, I don't know, a psychiatrist or psychologist if it's really, really bad. Or you can even, my door's always open in my like DMs and stuff if you just need someone to talk to. A lot of times, like, those stressful situations just kind of stay bottled up inside of us, and we aren't able to let them go. But when we are able to talk about those experiences, really share those experiences with others, then they can help alleviate that stress. So the Six of Swords appearing for you today, Aquarius, very strongly connects to your own energy, and kind of gives me the idea that there's been a lot of stressful happenings for you right now, like a lot of stressful situations, and only you have the power to leave them behind. There are two cards in this deck that are not tarot cards, and that is the Happy Squirrel and the Sad Squirrel. We did receive the Sad Squirrel here, Aquarius, so things are not necessarily hunky-dory like they would be with the Happy Squirrel, but you can see here this card very much looks like this card with this little cloud right here, and the expression on the squirrel's face just seems more angry than anything. So it kind of gives me that idea that someone or something might have caused you just to be angry and stressed out lately, Aquarius. And this card appearing here kind of suggests this might be the reason that you need to leave those feelings behind and find time of peace and harmony. So you have the ability to turn the sad squirrel to the happy squirrel, which I promise you is somewhere in this deck. And you don't have to hold on to that anger and that sadness. People do other people wrong all the time, but it's our reactions to these situations that really control the situations and really change it. So if you're focused on what someone's done to you, really holding on to that anger and that just sadness, it's doing nothing but bringing you down. So really, if you're feeling this sad squirrel energy right now, just like, I want to give up, I want to lay down and die, I don't want to try anymore, trust me, you are not alone. I definitely get that way a lot. So this sad squirrel following the Six of Swords, I feel like is a message from your guides, Aquarius, that only you can leave those feelings behind. You know, turn the sad squirrel to happy squirrel. Leave the negative feelings that you might have and the stressful situations behind, and find time of peace and harmony. Maybe this could be showing that you taking a vacation will help, but at the very least, it's a message that taking a vacation from the stress in your mind, like a mental vacation, might do you well as well. Like, you don't have to take a cruise or anything like that. Although, if that's what you want to do, go for it. Whatever makes you happy, Aquarius, I say follow your heart and do what you love. But at the very least, stop letting your mind overwhelm you and letting the actions of others fill you with anger and sadness. You have control of your life. Let's not forget that you are the star of your story, and really drive yourself or have someone else help you get to that point that you're not upset and you're not letting your mind get the best of you. The Nine of Wands follows the sad squirrel here, and it's really interesting to me because back here you have this arrow, and this arrow points directly at this sad squirrel. So the energy, I feel like that sad squirrel is really the focus of your energy right now, Aquarius. Like this, like he just looks angry, like someone's done him wrong. And even like the tree over here is like maybe barking orders at him or just giving him more reasons to just fill his heart with anger and hatred. He definitely looks like he's ready to whoop some butt over here. And the character of the Nine of Wands, this is a card of defending what you're passionate about, like really coming close to completing it. And maybe that's the reason that this sad squirrel is so upset and your mind is needing this need to get away and just have this break and time of peace and harmony, is because this passion that you were working on over here maybe conflicted with somebody else's, or maybe gave you this idea that you can't achieve it. I swear to you, if I minus like flying like with no parachute or anything like that, you truly can do anything you set your mind to. This isn't just necessarily for Aquarius. This is any sign of the zodiac, any person that's listening to this video right now. Don't doubt yourself. Don't let someone else tell you you can't just do something. Defend those passions. Don't let the sadness and the negativity that might be in your mind right now keep you from finding the peace and harmony that you deserve. That brings us up to the Ace of Swords, which is the beginning of the sword suit. And aces are considered intangible by the universe, like a gift or an idea. As this is the sword suit, I often call it the aha card because it's like that light bulb going off when you have a great idea. And you can tell from this illustration with the bandages and stuff that this character has definitely seen some stuff in his life. He's been hurt, he's been abused, but he's still got this smile on his face, this I'm not giving up, I'm going to work through the pain and create the life I want. So we even have the tree down here, which might be the tree from the sad squirrel, where he's taken control of that, taken those voices that might have been trying and cut them down to size, really gaining control of his mind and not letting it work against him. So the message I see here for you, Aquarius, is leave the doubt behind, leave the negativity you might be feeling, take control back of your mind and move yourself to peace and harmony. This is the 6 of the member of the sword suit, so it relates to self-reflection and kind of takes like the time to really look within and decide, like find out what's making you so sad, like what situation is causing you to feel this negativity in your life right now, and find that passion again. Really defend that passion. It doesn't matter if someone else doesn't believe in you. All that matters is you believe in yourself. Back to this question over here. Find what fills your cup. And then when you find what fills your cup, you can be more passionate about it and really share that passion with others instead of sharing that anger that you might be feeling. The Ace of Swords appearing at the bottom of the deck definitely seems like a message that it's time to begin a new path. It's time to take control of that mind and show the world what you're capable of. Show them there's no more sad squirrel within you and there's a happy squirrel somewhere there in you. I am going to take a moment and find the sad squirrel on this deck, and then I'm going to empower you to go after it. Happy squirrel. I told you happy squirrel was in there, and you can see that the trees have moved. This tree is no longer sad, angry, and forcing him with negativity. We have the happy squirrel with the happy tree that's excited about what he's doing. So this is a power, mind over matter thing, Aquarius. Don't be sad. Be happy. Life is too short to give into the sadness. Life is too short not to do what you love. So defend what you're passionate about. Leave the stress and the negativity behind. Begin trusting your mind instead of letting it work against you, and turn that sad squirrel to a happy squirrel. This is just a general reading, Aquarius. It may resonate with you, it may not. I did get a little bit passionate there, and I did say at the beginning, like, my rising sign is Aquarius. So as I'm interpreting this, I'm really like feeling this empowerment myself, and it's like I've been getting little anger thoughts and stuff in my head a lot lately. Just letting my mind work against me. So this definitely empowers me. It really makes me want to turn my sad squirrel to happy squirrel. But if it doesn't resonate with you and you want a more personalized reading, or if it does resonate with you and you want more to this reading, both of those options are available. You can comment on this video and I will get back to you. You can book a reading straight from my website, which I'll leave that link down in the description, as well as the links to both of my social media accounts, Facebook and Instagram, where you can send me a direct message there. And by following me on those pages, then you can get daily readings and inspiration and insight every day as well. I truly hope that you enjoyed this reading and it gives you the empowerment and inspiration you need to take control of your life and really move on to happier, more peaceful times. Be that happy squirrel that you were meant to be. Show the world that star power that you have. You can do anything you set your mind to, Aquarius. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon.